But right now, we're going to switch our focus back to the NFL draft. Going to do a couple of different positions today. So you guys got Blake Miller and Jordyn Tyson. Would you like to start with a player that I have a highlight of or not a highlight of?
I got to go back and look at the highlight list real quick, Kevin, because I need to make sure. No, not a highlight of. I would like to not
starting with the highlight, Alec. We are starting with Blake Miller.
Why don't you have a Blake Miller highlight?
It's really hard to find highlights of that. I mean, you can. Actually, you know what? I don't know why I'm answering this question. Alex should answer. I didn't find any of these
There's not going to be a Blake Miller highlight. He's probably an offensive tackle.
You could probably find one. Sometimes there's like huge block by Miller. But it is exceedingly difficult to find offensive line highlights.
The reason I wanted to dive in on Blake Miller was yesterday on CBS Sports. There was a mock draft that had the Cowboys being able to select Blake Miller and also Jermod McCoy, who we discussed yesterday.
Yeah.
So Jermod McCoy would have been your pick at 12, and then Blake Miller would have been your pick at 20. And you were like, hold on, can you see the Cowboys doing that? And the only way I could possibly see it, and I think Alec would agree with me on this, is if there was a way that the Cowboys filled up their linebacking and other cornerback, maybe safety positions with really good talent and free agency, then I can see the Cowboys saying, look, we can go make our offense even better by securing our offensive tackle. Now, how you're going to work with that's going to be a different deal. But Blake Miller, Kevin, do you like big men?
You know that I do.
Blake Miller is a 6'6", 315-pound offensive tackle. And that is a very large man right there.
Okay.
Out of Clemson.
Can I ask you a question, Alec a question, then maybe our audience a question? How big of a deal is it? Because you know how we've talked a whole lot about defensive players so far, and that makes a whole lot of sense given the Cowboys' current needs. But with defensive players, obviously we can talk about plenty of production when it comes to that. How big of a deal is it to y'all that Miller is somebody who has made all of the starts in college?
Oh, man, health is important. I mean, you saw your tackle position was a turnstile last year.
54 starts in college.
Yeah.
So, like, pretty much every game.
Yeah. Now, and again, like with Guyton, you're like, okay, how you feeling? And he's like, oh, I got this going on. And that's on top of, Kevin, the uncertainty of his job anyway. You don't know what this. It was a bummer that he got hurt in camp.
For sure.
Like, that was a big bummer because you were hoping he could get those practice reps. He had kind of missed a little bit of what he needed to do the year before. You were hoping he could get those practice reps and really get things going. And then so you're kind of stuck going, all right, well, what are we going to do is let's patchwork it for a little bit, knowing that you're going to have a Tyron Smith out there for 13 games. Before he started doing the 13-game thing, you knew he was going to be consistent.
Right.
Knowing Zach Martin was going to be on the field. Here's what else it helps. It helps the synchronization of your offensive line. Your offensive line, they have to move in unison with what they're doing as their jobs. And that is, if they're pulling, they have to everything has to be timed right. And you watch these slide protections, you watch all these things, the communication's so important. So all of that's a big factor in what you want. So health, Kevin, absolutely important for me.
Just real quick, Alec, how clutch is it for you, especially when it comes to like offensive linemen, that you're like, hey, obviously you want to know their win rates on various things, but also the fact that he's out there and played all of the games.
It matters a lot, and honestly, I think part of it is because of the success that we saw last year here in Dallas with Tyler Booker, but a lot of people saying really high remarks for his character and for his leadership. A great way to lead is by example. He's the type of guy that if he's got his shoulder in a harness because his arm is dangling from his body, he's going to say, yeah, I'm good to go on Sunday. I'm going to play. And he's going to play well because he's got that mentality. And if you've got that mentality, I feel like you can be coached in any other inefficiencies that you have. So I'm like, sign me up if he's got that kind of quality.
Here's the thing I like about Blake Miller, Kevin. I see power whenever I watch this guy, and now that's going to need to be coupled with some good technique. That's going to need to be coupled with a little bit better footwork. but he's got the size, the frame, and the power. Like his hands off the snap pop right in your chest.
Okay.
Sometimes though his hands get a little drifty, and that causes some.
What do you mean by that?
Sometimes it'll hit the shoulder instead of the chest. It's going to hit the shoulder hard.
Okay.
But maybe you needed to hit.
Yeah, that's not where you want.
Yeah. So sometimes his hand placement's a little bit off, but the power is there. He gets out of his stance really well. He'll create a lot of ground for himself to have space to react. But he's got his real long legs, 6'6", real long legs to step back. His first kick puts him back in really good position as a tackle to take on it, whether it's a bull rush or whether it's going to be one of those guys that's lined up really far out wide. He can get to it because he has the agility to do it. He also has the power to make sure that he's going to keep you off of it. But that big step's a big deal for him. This is what we talk about, communication, talking across the offensive line, those things, his awareness, he sees things. You got to be able to see that pickup blitz. You got to be able to see, we have this alignment set up right now. I got to be able to find this. He's a very intelligent player to go along with it, picks up stunts really well. Like the stunts and the twists, those can be damning for your team if they're going to be able to play those games against your tackles and your inside guys. So that's a really big deal there. And pass blocking, Kevin, that's been a big factor of, like, can we do this or not?
That's been a struggle for this offensive line in general,
especially
right?
the tackles, especially our tackles. They've been struggling on the outside. We don't need to get in the Super Bowl, Kevin, and have a Will Campbell moment. You know what I mean? So that's been a big deal. This dude right here, his pass blocking is well above average, and so like that's going to be something now. I'm a little concerned about the run blocking, but we're a pretty good run blocking team, so that's not going to be a big concern for me because he'll get into it, he'll work, he'll learn it. He finishes blocks strong, and that's just something I like the player a lot. I'm not begging for an offensive tackle, but I wanted to watch a couple of offensive tackles to be like, all right, this is a good addition to this team, and I think he would be.
And you like pass block better than run block?
I do like his pass block more right now.
All right, Alec, how we feeling?
I will take the opposite approach here on this guy. I prefer... When I think about translating to the NFL, I think that his run blocking might translate a little bit better than his pass blocking.
Okay.
I think his pass blocking on tape is definitely better, but I think the inefficiencies in his technique are going to cost him more reps in pass blocking in the NFL.
Yeah, you're right.
Because I do think that the pad level is a bit of a concern, the unsteady footwork that you mentioned, Corey, but also what you were talking about with his hands. Like, he's quick with the arms and he's quick with the hands, but a simple chop, a simple twist can easily get him beaten on the outside, so people can get around him. That's what I'm concerned in his pass blocking game in the NFL, is people can get around him with pretty simple moves. I do think that some of the run blocking inefficiencies that you see on tape in college will get cleaned up over time because he does, like you said, Corey, he has the IQ. He knows what he's seeing in front of him, and I think his quickness to get to the second level is going to really help him in situations like combo blocks where he's going to be asked to climb up to a linebacker, zone schemes that Clayton Adams loves to run here in Dallas, stuff like that. I think he's just going to get schemed into getting better at certain things in the NFL because of his physical strength and his like football IQ and his intelligence when it comes to the game is really, really strong. So
it's something that flashes, like his intelligence flashes every time you put the tape on for this guy.
Yeah, it honestly does. He's really smart, and he fits what they're trying to do here. There's going to be a lot of things that offensive linemen are going to be asked to do in a Clayton Adams run scheme, and I do think that he has what it takes mentally to do that. I think most of everything else can get cleaned up.
What are early thoughts, either from y'all or from the prognosticators, about where he could fit draft value-wise?
Yeah, I mean, he could go anywhere from like 18 down into the second round. I think he's probably going to go in the first round late, especially if there's a run on tackles early, which it looks like there probably will be a little bit of a run early in this draft. So I think he could go anywhere in that little range right there. But what I really want to do, Kevin, is I want to talk about your highlight guy.
Give me cut number 5 from the Metroplex. It's Jordyn Tyson.
1st and 10 from the Texas State 30-yard line. Off play action, Levitt dodges an oncoming rusher, throws downfield to a wide-open receiver, Tyson, and Tyson dives forward into the end zone for a spectacular touchdown of 30 yards.
Now, Jordyn Tyson played his high school football around here. He was at Allen as a freshman, sophomore, and senior, and then he played at Frisco Independence as a junior.
I think it was at John Paul for a minute, too. Something I saw there.
I'll look at that.
Yeah, go look that up. Kevin, this is top 10 potential right here for wide receiver. 6'2", 200 pounds. Alec, do you kind of see a CeeDee Lamb frame in this guy?
Yeah, I can definitely see it for sure.
I mean, okay, because CeeDee Lamb, like when we saw him in the lobby, I was like, man, he's taller than he looks on the field, but I guess sometimes when you're standing next to George Pickens, that can make you look a little bit shorter. But yeah, he very athletic, good tracking. I mean, as far as tracking the football, this dude absolutely does that well. I love his acceleration after he catches the ball. He separates so good. Every route you see, every single one of the routes, he separates, uses his hand fakes exceptionally, short yardage especially. Kind of reminds me of Devontae Adams with his head fakes at short yardage passes. He's going to create. All right, I'm sorry, I left this out. I've come up with a nickname for him, and I can't decide. There's two nicknames. Either he's the king of separation or he's the king of space. Which one do you want? Because king of space sounds awesome.
I like king of separation, and here's why. Because not only can he create separation on his routes, maybe he can separate defenders from their relationships, because that person is like, you are terrible.
Yeah,
that's it.
He isn't just going to be a little open. Like, this isn't a dude that's just like, hey, it was a tight window. He knows the game. He knows where space is supposed to be, and he does things in the route that create that space. Like he'll do a setup as he's going downfield so that he can come back on a curl, and it confuses them so much. It confuses defenders because whenever they're tracking him. His speed's the same all the time. It's like the same. He can slow you down if he wants to, but because he can break on so many different directions with the same speed, they get lost trying to go because they know he can burn past them. And they don't want that to happen. So now if he cuts in front of them, they were trying to keep up with the speed he already had. So that's a big deal there. I call him the king of separation, the king of space. Catches in stride. His quarterback rating when he was targeted was 111.2. So I feel like that's positive, Kevin.
Yeah.
Whenever you do that. And here's one of the things that I like about him this year. 3 fourth-quarter touchdowns, 12 third-down conversions. This dude wants the rock when it counts the most. But just watching him play, it's like it looks so comfortable and fluid for him at the position. And he's not necessarily the most physical guy. I didn't see him do a lot of physical things. CeeDee Lamb, very wiry and kind of makes his way and navigates kind of body. And that's kind of the things that I saw. I'm not saying he's CeeDee Lamb, but he's not George Pickens. If you're going to get this, you might have double CeeDee Lambs on each side.
Well, here's another one, as long as we're throwing out lofty comps, which is great, from the 940. I'm obsessed with Jordyn Tyson. He's identical to Amon-Ra St. Brown.
I love that comp, yeah.
All right.
I feel like St. Brown's, he's got a little more stocky and powerful frame.
Okay.
And I don't feel like Tyson has that same kind of power, but I love the route ability on this guy's amazing.
All right, Alec, it might be impossible for us to convince Corey not for us to go draft Jordyn Tyson. What say you?
Yeah, there's a lot to like here, and I think the best way I could pose it to you, Kevin, if we're doing comps, I'll ask you a question. Do you like Terry McLaurin?
I do.
Oh,
You're getting Terry McLaurin.
Dude.
That's what you're getting if you're drafting him. The IQ, the willingness to just be out there, like Corey said, when it matters the most. And just to put it in perspective, we were talking about it with Blake Miller, the offensive tackle. He hurt both of his hamstrings against Texas Tech. He refused to check out of the game and single-handedly won that game.
So he's the opposite of Darren Peterson. I got what you're saying.
Very much so. So, yes, topical. But, yeah, this dude, he's a menace. He wants the ball. He's sudden. He's quick. He can play any receiver position on the field. The only thing that concerns me early, like rookie season, second year, CeeDee Lamb, dumb drops. He'll have a dumb drop every now and then.
Yeah, he had a number of them that were like, how did you leave that many on the field? So that does happen occasionally for him.
All right, so we'll take part of Joel Klatt's draft where he has us getting Caleb Downs at 12. Then he has Jordyn Tyson at 20. At 24, sorry.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So if I tell you we walk out of the first round with Downs and Tyson,
if you did this, if that was to happen,
yeah,
you traded George Pickens from the
I would assume.
I'm not necessarily taking a receiver unless Pickens isn't going to be here.
Okay.
And so in my imagination, Kevin, I would take Tyson, and I had already traded Pickens in that scenario.
Okay. Alec?
I don't want to get clipped and people be like, oh, my God,
yeah.
you trying to change
No. I'm with you.
In that scenario.
Alec, the idea of potentially taking Tyson at 20, if you traded Pickens,
then you won the draft. Like, so many things went wrong for other teams.
Yeah.
So you won the draft if that happened, because I think that's incredible value at both spots.
Yeah, he's dead on right there.
Okay. I love
and we'll
it.
figure out the defense from there. We'll figure it out.
Okay. Man, yeah. Bobby's going to be furious at us about this. He's like, why are you doing this? Hey, we did get Caleb down. We're the K&C Masterpiece right here on 105.3 The Fan.
You know, though, 1 downs isn't going to be enough for this defense.
No, you're right. But that's where I start. That's where I start my reclamation.
You get 4
but
downs
actually, usually 1 down was enough against this defense.
And somebody texted in, they were like, can't draft Blake Miller. His name's got to be Tyler.
That's right.
Okay. Well, I mean, I feel like we got closer with the wide receiver.